conditioning over the weekend to go see a movie, right?
Yes.
It's going to be hot out there. Film critic Josh Bell is here with the Bell Breakdown. And we've got 2 movies to talk about this weekend.
Yes.
One of them a romantic comedy starring Seth Rogen, right? And who else?
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron. She's
Yes,
been anything
kind
in
of
a little while.
Mismatched pair.
Yeah, which could be funny.
Yeah, it is funny, actually.
Okay.
Long shot. This is quite an enjoyable movie. I think they are a mismatched pair, but it isn't one of these movies where we're pretending as if they aren't.
Okay.
The whole plot here is about their kind of oddball pairing. They are former childhood friends. Charlize Theron's character used to babysit Seth Rogen's character when they were younger, and they reunite after 25 years. She's now the Secretary of State, and she's running for president, and so she's very famous and poised and elegant and smart, and he is this kind of firebrand journalist who has just been let go from his job. He's a bit schlubby. He wears that awful jacket.
Windbreaker, whatever the heck
like
that
the
is.
entire movie, he wears that jacket.
Oh, no.
But they have real good chemistry. They have this kind of shared history as children, and she hires him as one of her speechwriters, and they start connecting over not just kind of romantic stuff, but over politics, over discussing policy. And so it's really about this meeting of equals in terms of intelligence and emotion, and it's very charming. It's got a lot of funny stuff. Some of the humor is a little lowbrow that you might expect from Seth Rogen, but not a ton of that. And Charlize Theron really gets to show off her comedic chops, which she doesn't get to do very often, and she does a great job with it. I think its political sensibility is maybe a little simplistic, but this isn't a movie about making a political statement. It's a romantic comedy that wants to be about witty banter and hearkening back to something from the 1940s, and I think it does a good job of that.
Yeah, she's giving him those bedroom eyes there. Even with that jacket on, she likes him.
She does, but it makes it believable. You're looking at that and you think, how is this possible? But the writing and the direction from Jonathan Levine, who's worked with Seth Rogen a few other times, really sells the relationship that by the time they get together, you're rooting for it and you're totally on board with it. And I thought this movie was a lot of fun.
Wow, I'm so glad that you liked it. Sold. You just sold me on that
all
movie.
right.
Now I want to see it.
Great.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Ugly Dolls. This is an animated movie, which you usually enjoy.
Well, I can enjoy. I think there was actually one a few weeks ago that we didn't end up talking about called Missing Link from Laika, which I will plug instead of Ugly Dolls because Ugly Dolls is terrible.
Is it?
It is based on the toy line. So it's essentially a 90-minute toy commercial, which can be fun, actually. We had the Lego movies, and they make something enjoyable out of that, but this movie really does not. The animation is really cheap looking. There's a lot of scenes where there's barely even a background, and we've got the Ugly Dolls, who of course aren't really ugly. They're actually quite cute, and they're just kind of odd looking, and they are going on a quest to become essentially real. They want to go into the real world and be adopted by children, but they have to go to this land of the perfect dolls and compete with them, and the plot doesn't really make very much sense. There's a lot of singing. It's a musical, and there's these kind of inane songs. You've got Kelly Clarkson and Blake Shelton and Charlie XCX and a bunch of pop singers doing the voices who are good singers but not good voice actors. And so it's a lot of awkward acting. It's really aimed at like very, very small children.
Yeah, it does look like it looks that way.
Yeah, maybe if you have really small kids, but even then I think parents are going to be bored and irritated with this movie. And it's the kind of thing that barely qualifies for like Nick Jr., I think. But go see Missing Link instead, still in theaters.
Okay, Missing Link.
Yes.
Good to know. And those dolls, you're right, they're cute. They're so ugly, they're
Right,
cute.
they're not ugly.
They're not ugly.
And so the message about loving yourself, and it just kind of doesn't really even come across.
Got it. Josh, thanks for the Bell Breakdown on this Friday. We'll see you back here next week. We're going to have 2 segments with Josh next week because you did a feature on Las Vegas movies too,
Yes,
right?
looking forward to that.
Okay, we'll talk to him about that next week at 11:45. Stay with us.